Hi, I'm Julia. Welcome to my channel. So, a few years ago, I was a trip leader on a backpacking trip, and I pulled out my Kindle only to find that I only had books on there that I'd either already read or had been avoiding reading for like 4 years. I resolved to get all new books for the trip that I was taking next, which was a 2-week-long backpacking trip. Ever since then, I've tried to read as many new books as I can. When I was a kid, I was a chronic rereader, so I'm trying to make up for lost time here. I've gotten more and more into book news, so I know what new releases are coming out, and I've subscribed to several book-related podcasts and, of course, booktube channels. In 2016, I read around 40 books. In 2017, I read 72. And in 2018, I read 150. I know, I still can't quite believe it myself. So how did I manage to double the number of books I read in 2018? Well, I used to watch a lot of TV shows, but I can't find any that I'm interested in right now, which is kind of tragic, but also it gives me a lot more time to read. Reading is pretty much the only recreational thing that I do now, besides watch YouTube videos. I listen to a lot more audiobooks this year, and I also count novellas and graphic novels towards my reading goal. It's my goal, I can do what I want. My original goal for this year was 100 books. I hit 100 in September and then bumped it up to 130. At the end of November, I was getting close to the 130 mark, and I thought, I could go for 150 if I wanted to. So I did! In December, I read 18 books. A lot of them are comics, but still. I track my books using Goodreads and in a very elaborate spreadsheet. Do I need both of them? For my own list-making purposes, yes, absolutely. The spreadsheet lets me know how many authors I read are people of color, for example, or what percentage of the books I read are fantasy. It's over a third. A lot of my favorite books this year are, unsurprisingly, ones I've already discussed on this channel, so I'll be quick with this list. They weren't necessarily the best books I read or the ones that I rated the highest, but they're ones that I absolutely love, and I'm still thinking about them months later. My top 10 books of the year are Sabriel by Garth Nix, The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison, which I listened to twice in less than a month, Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wayne, no surprise there, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, the book that I've probably cried the most while listening to, The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, The Thrilling Adventures of Lovelace and Babbage by Sidney Padua, The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee, Hidden Figures by Margot Shetterly, We Were 8 Years in Power by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and The Ruin of a Rake by Cat Sebastian. That's only 2 guys. That tracks. I only read 32% male authors this year. Oh man. More statistics! Only 16% of the books I read were by people of color. Yikes. I know I can do better. And it's not like I don't have a bunch of people of color on my TBR, I just need to get down to it. I listened to 26 books on audio. I discovered Libby this year, which was literally life-changing. 1.5 times speed is your friend. I mean, when the audiobook narrators read a book like this, how can you not speed it up? Like, come on, let's pick up the pace here. I read 29 nonfiction books. That is more nonfiction than I've read in a year in my entire life. Considering that my original goal was 20, I think I did pretty good there. My reading year in 2018 was different from a lot of my other reading years, and not because I read so many books. I got into nonfiction and romance in a big way, which are 2 genres that my younger self would be very surprised to see me reading. I read Ursula Le Guin for the first time, and I think I've read half of her books at this point. And although I've always loved audiobooks, this year they were my best friend while I was driving, cooking, working, commuting, etc. I needed audiobooks more than ever this year as I became a full-time working adult. And then, of course, this year I got into BookTube and started this channel. So, what are some of my goals for next year? I want to read 150 books again. I've already set that goal. That means I have to read 12 to 13 books a month. But I'm still going to count novellas. I'm getting back into comics, so I'm of course going to count those, so that'll help towards my goal. And like I said, I want to read more people of color. I'm shooting for about 25% or around 38 books. Another goal is to read more books that I own. A third of my TBR is books that I own physically or on Kindle, so I need to get on that. But the library is just so tempting, so I have to finish this stack first before I start on books that I own. I was at the library the other day and they had Washington Black, and that was on all the best books of the year list, so you know I had to pick that one up. And finally, I read a lot of books with queer characters, which was great. One of my favorite authors, Mackenzie Lee, on Instagram said that she wants to read fewer books with white gay protagonists this year, and I thought, that's a great goal, I should do that too. Unfortunately, most of the gay romance novels I read are about white men, except for that Alyssa Cole novella with the Black Women Loving Women is coming out like on Tuesday, so that'll be enjoyable. Finally, my goals for this channel. I want to post more, obviously. I want to get my 2 series, Sherlock Holmes adaptations and 20th Century Femme sci-fi and fantasy, running again, because they've been on hiatus for way too long, honestly. I'd love to do actual reviews of books, which I don't do very often, but I think it would really help me get more content. And also there are a lot of books which I would love to talk about in depth. Alright, that is all I have for you today, folks. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe if you want more quality content.